Hello, Professor. It is me, Roland Reyes, again. Today is August 9th, Monday, 7:43 p.m. here, Central Time. Here is my name and the date. Here are my notes. Here's the front side. Here's the back side. The name of the syndrome I chose was obstructive bronchial syndrome. The clinical manifestations of it are fatigue, exercise intolerance, increased sputum, and shortness of breath. Basically, it's just it's COPD, chronic obstruction of pulmonary disease. The other three syndromes that I chose to differentiate it between were the pleural syndrome, the acute respiratory distress syndrome, and respiratory failure. Pleural syndrome is just like any kind of disease that you might get to the outside of your lungs in the pleural cavity, which helps the lungs stay up. The pleural cavity helps the lungs stay up and be able to just keep a negative pressure with the environment. That way, they can expand and contract. This is the pleural syndrome, the accumulation of fluid in the cavity, and what can happen with this is a collapse of the lungs, and it differentiates with obstruction of bronchial syndrome because it's not actually affecting the bronchioles specifically. It's in the pleural cavity. The next one I have listed is acute respiratory distress syndrome. This is a quick onset, 12 to 18 hours. And it has signs of respiratory failure, and basically there's an issue with the gas exchange either in the heart or the lungs. And respiratory failure is when it is felt like it's not working. We're below what we need to be doing, and breathing is almost at this point stopped. And then for the last part, I have gone into the different types of obstructive bronchial syndromes. In the textbook, I could only find two, but there was a third that I found that was another syndrome that said it's an uncommon type, so I decided to list that as my third. So the types I have are emphysema, chronic bronchitis, and bronchiectasis. Emphysema is just the loss of lung elasticity, so your lungs aren't fully expanding to what they need to do. The alveoli in your lungs are they're taking in more air than they can hold, and they are bursting. The walls are bursting, and the alveoli are merging together. And this once they combine, the area inside the lungs is reduced, so there's less oxygen that's being absorbed. So therefore, there is less oxygen going to your bloodstream. It's not perfusing as well as it should be because it's a reduced area. Chronic bronchitis is another type of obstructive bronchial syndrome. It's the inflammation of your bronchioles, and it makes airways smaller, so that's another obstruction, which just doesn't let you breathe as well. And lastly, I went to bronchiectasis. It's a permanent dilation, therefore your bronchioles are just wide open, and it's similar to bronchitis, and it just brings in different issues, and it makes infections more possible, and your air is not going as well as it should be, especially if you're doing like exercise or something within those realms where you need them to be a little more constricted so air can move faster through it. Well, thank you again, Professor, and here's my name and date once again. Thank you.